Oh, don't mind me, everybody. I'm just walking up the mountain, gonna see what we can find up here. Yeah, I think I've got a little bit of lag going on here. I'm not sure what that's all about. Oh, this is what it's all about. Yep. You thought I wasn't doing anything, but I've been destroying this island all this time. And let me just show you something real fast. There's some chests over here. Oh, there they are. They just loaded in. Actually, real fast, let me turn down the render distance. All right, much better. Now it doesn't lag everywhere. Yeah, you see all these chests? You see how this one is just a little bit taller than the others? Yeah, I guess this kind of spoils what's in it. But yeah, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 double chests of stone. Isn't that crazy? Well, actually, it's just a little bit more than that because, yeah. They're all full. Every single one of them is completely full. We've got so much stone. You want to see how much stone I've gotten? I don't go in here very often, but look at that. 710,000 stone that we've mined. And a pretty modest amount of grass and dirt blocks. And even, if you look at this, we've got 15,000 coal ore. Isn't that... Oh, wow, that's actually really close to the... Give me just a second. Would you believe it? We've got exactly as much coal ore as we've got gravel. 15,120. And let me just show you where some of that is because, yeah, it's not just all of those stuff. We've also got a whole bunch of coal. We've got a decent amount of copper. We've got a kind of surprisingly small amount of iron. This is all the iron that I got from this entire island. And then, we've got gravel, we've got andesite, some diorite, a little bit of granite, and then of course our chests after chest, well, not an entire chest, filled with dirt. And yeah, we've got a lot, but unfortunately, this really isn't even close to done because I don't know if I mentioned exactly what I'm going to be doing. Well, I think I did in a previous episode, but I've got to lower this down even further because this is all going to be a gigantic lake someday. And well, lakes need to have depth. Otherwise, it's not much of a lake. But still, it's a big achievement that we've made. I've never really undertaken a project quite this big. I think we're going to have to go at least like, I don't know, 10, 15 blocks more down because this over here, this is a lot more than 10 blocks down. So, but enough about that. We've got, oh, let me just take care of this guy real fast. All right, let's talk about what we're going to be doing today. And I know this is totally unrelated, but I am absolutely dying right now. I record in a room in our house and it's so hot and humid in here, so I've got a fan on me constantly. But unfortunately, when I'm recording, I can't run the fan, otherwise it completely ruins the audio. So every time I record, I have to turn off the fan, and oh my goodness, I am just absolutely dying. I get covered in sweat every time I start. It's really miserable and disgusting. I'm gonna stop talking about it. But this is our project for today. We're gonna be working on this cave system, and not really the whole cave system, because here's a quick refresher for anybody who doesn't remember. We've got a whole bunch of farms under this mountain. We've got our moss farm, honey farm, iron, melon pumpkins. We've got all sorts of stuff in here, but I want to have like a central storage area, as well as like a really cool kind of thematic way that we can get to all of the inner workings of the farm if we ever need to do any, I don't know, maintenance stuff. I'm probably not going to need it much, but you never know. This is going to be the entrance. We've got our walkway coming around down here, and eventually we're going to have this walkway going over the bridge and into the city proper, but this is where the entrance to our cave system is going to be, and we're not going to get too much done as far as actually creating the cave systems because that's just going to be a whole bunch more digging like I've been doing over there because, yeah, I'm going to have to clear out a bunch of this. But we're going to make the entrance, and, well, instead of telling you all about it right now, I think I'm just gonna build it, or at least get the sort of shape in there, and then I'll tell you what I'm thinking. Well, it's made of dirt, and I think the shape kind of needs a little bit of work still, but you're starting to get the idea of what I'm trying to put together here. We've just got a little staircase coming down into the cave, and well, right now it doesn't go anywhere, but eventually it's gonna go somewhere. I've been thinking about how I want to actually make the caves go, and I'm thinking I'm gonna have this main entrance over here, and then maybe I'll have something over here. I don't know if this will actually be usable or if it'll just be an aesthetic sort of cave, but regardless, I think this is a really solid shape. We've got a little bit of interesting something over here. We've got a bit of a area that juts out over here, but for the most part, it's not too terribly detailed, which is totally fine because eventually this is all going to be so dark that it's going to be really hard to see anyway. In fact, I think the thing I'm worried about the most is just having mobs spawning around here. So yeah, I think it's ready to get some deep slate in here. I'll get a little bit of the texturing done, but I think for the most part it's mostly going to be deep slate for now. And then once I come in and start doing the finer details, then I can add some other stuff in there. Now, I think the first big challenge that we're gonna have here is we've got to find a way to transition this darker obsidian and blackstone into the cobbled deep slate up here. And that's something that's kind of difficult to do for a really natural setting because some of the blocks that you're typically gonna be using, like different versions of deep slate, like the bricks and blackstone bricks and stuff like that, they don't look super natural. They're very clearly, well, bricks, as the name implies. So we're gonna have to use them very sparingly, but I think we're still going to need them to get the look that we're going for. Now, the other aspect is going to be, of course, the lighting, and lighting we're going to have to worry about later because I don't want to get a whole bunch of creepers dropping on my head, but that'll be the other big part because if this is darker, then it'll be a lot harder to see and it'll blend together naturally just a little bit better. So I'm gonna go through and I'm gonna place just a few little transition blocks here and there while making sure that I don't go overboard, and we'll see how it looks after that. Well, this looks a lot better. But there's actually something that we can do to make it look better without placing any blocks or moving anything or doing really anything at all. And all we need to do is go into the settings and we just turn our brightness down to 30. And look at that. It just absolutely changes the feel. It looks so much better. This is actually something that I've been thinking about doing for a long time, but I've never really had the need to do it until now. I don't know if anybody else watches B-dubs. He recommends this all the time. Just lower the brightness down to 30 and I don't know, it really just completely changes the way that you interact with the light. Because when I turn this on to full brightness, look at that, there's just no shadows. You just have all of this constant bright light, but if we turn it back down, then all of a sudden we can manipulate this light in different ways. And I think that's most visible right here where it gets really, really dark and it just starts to fade into the background. But yeah, this is looking really great. Now, of course, we've still got a lot of work to do. We've got to actually create the entire cave system down here, which is going to be massive because we've got to go all the way around here, and I'm thinking we'll even have like a big loop all the way around the mountain. Yeah, that'll be a project that takes quite a while. In the meantime, though, I think we can do just a little bit more work up here at the top to transition our deep slate into the dirt at the top. I absolutely love it. I've been using rooted dirt so much lately, and I don't know, it might be coming close to becoming one of my favorite blocks. It's such a tiny difference from, you know, this to the dirt, but it just, the slightly lighter color, and I don't know, just, it does something to builds that just really make it feel like they come to life. That combined with the little bits of tuff in there, and then the stone buttons here and there, and, well, Obviously, if you look at it too closely, it looks a little bit funky, but the farther away you get, I don't know. I think this looks so cool. And of course, it's hard to tell now because it's still going absolutely nowhere, but eventually I really want this to look like we're descending into these really dark tunnels, and these are gonna go off this way, and this one will go off this way, and we'll just be able to walk through here, and I think it's gonna look really cool. And the vibe that I'm getting as we transition down into like blackstone and then even some obsidian down here at the bottom. I mean, nobody's ever gonna be looking down here underneath, but I think it looks really, really cool. Even if you just happen to look down here, you can kind of get the idea, oh, it's getting a lot darker down there. But of course, the actual tunnels aren't the only thing we're missing. I'd also really like to get this, I don't know what the right word is, kind of jungle-ified, I guess, because eventually this whole mountain is going to be covered in trees and bushes and all sorts of little things, and I think we'll probably have some vines hanging down, and we'll do a bunch of other crazy stuff with that. But I think I'm going to leave it like that for now because I wanted to do something else, and it's actually related to rooted dirt. I know I mentioned in the last episode how much I absolutely cannot stand going around and getting rooted dirt because you have to plant the tree and then you have to bone meal it, get rid of the tree, get the rooted dirt. But I was thinking, what if we just used a system really, really similar to this? I think I might even just be able to use basically this entire thing minus the whole water dispensing system. But I mean, I could basically just come in here, stick down a piece of dirt, put a azalea leaf on top of it, or whatever it's called, azalea saplings, bone meal it up, get the tree, push it along with another piece of dirt, and just copy that over and over and over again. And it'll be slow. Not super fast, but oh boy, would it be way faster than planting a whole bunch of trees and then cutting them all down and then getting the tiny bit of rooted dirt underneath and then doing it all over again. I think this can save me a whole lot of time considering how much rooted dirt I'm going to use. So I'm going to come up here and just see if I can put something together real fast. Wait, that's it? You mean all I need to do is walk up here, place a piece of dirt, put an azalea on top, bone meal it up, destroy this, push, place an azalea, bone meal it up, destroy this, place some dirt, put an azalea down, bone meal it up, get rid of this, put down the dirt. Okay, sorry, that's enough of that. But seriously, like, it was this easy? You're telling me that I spent literal hours out there planting azalea trees, mining the tiny bit of rooted dirt under it, and I could have made this machine in probably 30 seconds. Like this was so easy. Let's just do this real fast. No, we're just gonna do this. I'm gonna get rid of this real fast, and I'm gonna destroy all this stuff, and we're gonna put this together live, and we're gonna see how long this takes me to put together. All right, let's do this. We're just gonna do this straight live. Not even gonna practice ahead of time. Just gonna put down all of this stuff in my toolbar, and all right, are you ready? This is how long it's gonna take. We're gonna start 3, 2, 1, go. All right, put down this piston. Actually, I need these iron blocks. This along the top, another one there, and this going in with 2 ticks, I think. That going there, and then we need all of these pistons going here. We need that. We need this here. Actually, oh wait, this needs to be. All right, I'm gonna take all. I'm not even gonna take this out. I'm not even gonna restart. I'm just gonna get rid of these blocks and fix this mistake. Not gonna get rid of the time. We're just gonna keep going because it's seriously that fast, I think. All right, well, you know, it's fast, but I'm also really bad, apparently. All right, this goes over here. This is there, and then we run this along the top, and we're done. That's it. I mean, I guess I can test it really fast just to make sure. Please work. Yes, it worked. All right, fine. It took me a minute, but that was with me messing up this, and I didn't go that fast in general. This could easily be done in 30 seconds. I could do this in 30 seconds. Like, you believe me, right? It's really, really easy. But this, I don't know, this kind of puts me in a bind. Because, you know, on the one hand, okay, now I can make all of this really, really fast. I just gotta, you know, get the system down. You know, if as long as I can do this a little bit faster. I could automate it a little bit better than this. I know there's plenty of designs out there that utilize stone generators and make it like super automatic and stuff like that, but I just don't really need that bad. But anyway, on the one hand, I can do this really fast, but on the other hand, this was supposed to be the second half of this video, and whoa, that was so fast. That took literally no time. For any of you astute viewers, this machine right here, I literally copied it straight from this. Like, it's exactly the same as this minus this part in the middle. Like, seriously, this took me this took me no time to design. It took me no time to plan it. It took absolutely no time at all. So how am I gonna fill the rest of this video? I mean, I guess I could fix this up a little bit, because I've been feeling like I ought to update this pathway just a little bit because it doesn't look that great. So let's just do that. This thing's already coming insanely handy. I've had long enough to kind of think about this and decide what I really want to do with it. And at first I thought that this was looking pretty decent, but I think it's just a little bit too random. So I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take out pretty much all of these really central areas, like this area where the whole path is gonna be going, and I'm just gonna replace it entirely with rooted dirt. And then with the path more firmly outlined than it was before, we can add a little bit of texturing, make the edges just a little bit more blurry, put a few grass or moss blocks here in the center. And then I think most importantly of all, we can add a little bit of this moss carpet in here like this, and that'll just give it a little bit of a vertical texture. You see how we can kind of see the top of the carpet there? It just makes it look like it's not quite as flat as it actually is, and I think it'll help bring this all together. Oh yeah, that's much better. And this is kind of one of the themes that I want to make common throughout this series, is when we build things, you know, we're not necessarily stuck with them forever. I'm constantly getting better at building as we go, and some of the things that I might have done at one point, they don't look quite as good now as they used to, and I'm pretty okay with going back and fixing up those little things. I mean, as long as they're little things. I don't think I'd ever go back and change much about like the library or, you know, something big, but for these little things, I think it's really fun to come back and switch it up a little bit, make it a little bit better. In fact, I think this whole pond area could probably use a slightly similar thing. I need to finish adding like actual real rocks over to here, and this whole area could use with maybe being a little bit more than just moss blocks along here. We can put in like the lake bed, or I guess pond bed, whatever you want to call it, down there. And I still have no idea what to do with the frogs. I still have them on their little fences back there because I don't want to lose them, but I also kind of wish I could have them jumping around here without having them run away like all the other ones did. But yeah, that's a something we can do on another day. Also, I don't know if anybody has noticed this, but we've had this here for the past couple episodes, actually probably quite a few episodes. Yeah, this is just the little pathway that leads over here to the waterway that feeds onto the watermill. And I'd like to do something over here. We can make some sort of like entrance, or I don't know if it even needs to be an entrance, just something to make it look less like a dirt tunnel, but I don't know. We'll deal with that later. But I think this is where I'm going to end the episode for today. We've got quite a bit done. I mean, this was just the cherry on top. We also got the incredibly simple but very useful rooted dirt farm, and my favorite, we have the entrance to our cave all done. And this of course needs a little bit more work. Like I said, I want to add some leafage up here at the top and make it look like there's a little bit more of a jungle vibe going on here, but I really like what we've got going on in here, especially with the decrease in the brightness. Just to remind you the difference that this makes. This is 30, this is 100, and this is 30 again. Like, the difference is night and day. It's just so good. When the brightness is on all the way, you just see every block, and I don't know, it's just not quite as immersive. Whereas with this, even down here, some of these blocks that don't fit in quite as well, like this deep slate and the cracked stone bricks that we have there, they just sort of blend into the background, and like especially here in this corner, you can't really make out any blocks in particular. You can just barely make out the contour of the stone behind there, and that's really what I'm going for. And actually, I meant to do this earlier, but I'll quickly go through and just add some jungle fence here to make it look a little bit better. Yeah, just something really simple in there. It's not really to protect anybody, but it just gives it a little bit of a splash of color, and I think helps bring everything together. But don't worry, we'll be finishing this. Well, probably not finishing this, but at least working on this a little bit more in the next episode. We've got to dig out a whole bunch of stone and dirt to make our pathway around the mountain, so it's probably actually going to take quite a while, similar to this project over there. But yeah, I think that's going to be this episode. I'm sure you noticed that I decided I'm going to start making videos every 2 weeks. It just makes it a little easier for me to get more content into each particular episode, because the last couple episodes were just, it was starting to get a little bit sparse as far as progress went every episode. And well, if I had a little bit more time to put like a lot of effort into it, I felt like I could make slightly better videos. So this is kind of my attempt at that. Let me know what you think. But yeah, I'm gonna call it here for the day, and I will see you in the next episode. Bye.